Hi everybody and welcome back to our Facebook Live. This month, as we've promised, we're looking at International Stress Management Month. We've gone through a few fears and phobias, and we promised to look at one of the highest phobias, which is fear of public speaking. This is the first of our speakers on this topic, Judith Quinn. Judith, when we were talking about this earlier, you had a really different perspective on what fear of public speaking is all about. Can I hand over to you?
Sure. So firstly, thank you so much for having me, and hello to you. And I have a really strong belief, firstly, that public speaking isn't just standing and speaking in front of a big audience. So I believe that any situation in which you're making your inner thoughts, ideas, opinions, or feelings, and you take them out of you and you're sharing them with another person or other people, that is making your thoughts, ideas, feelings, opinions public. So basically, all speaking is public speaking. So that's the first thing.
Okay.
And the fear of public speaking, from the work that I've done with my clients, from my experiences, is I don't believe it's the fear of actually speaking. It boils down to three main things, but the first one is the biggest of them all and kind of links into the other two. And the fear of public speaking isn't a fear of speaking at all. It's the fear of being judged. Is the number one thing. And also the fear of the unknown. And thirdly, not the fear of being heard or speaking, but the fear of being seen. So judgment, we all judge every day, everything, and we make positive judgments as well as negative judgments, but the brain, the subconscious brain, trying to keep us safe, is always looking out for danger and fear. It's always for looking out for those things that we need to run away from. So we look at negative judgment when we say the word judgment. So the fear of public speaking is the fear that the people you're speaking to are going to judge you as wrong, incompetent, not good enough, too young, too old, too fat, too thin, too ugly, too pretty, too whatever it is that you're afraid other people are going to judge about you as a person and what you're saying.
Okay. And all of that brought you to the business that you're running at the moment, didn't it?
Pretty much, yeah.
So can you just tell us a little bit more about who you are and what you do?
Okay. I'm Judith Quinn with one N. If you're going to Google me, don't do two N's on the Quinn. And my business is called Your Whole Voice. So it's your whole voice because it's about you, not me. It's about you discovering your true voice and being able to express it. And it's your whole voice because most people, particularly when it comes to public speaking, doing presentations, whatever that may be, most people disconnect their voice from A, the rest of who they are, and B, physically disconnect their voice from the rest of their body. So it's your whole voice because it's bringing all of you to the table, but also physically and physiologically working with your voice held, contained, supported by your whole body. Not just this voice that gets trapped in your head and I'm nervous and I'm going to tell people everything from here so that no one can hear that I care, and has no support or feeling or engagement.
Which is what brought us to the title that we called this topic, is do you want to express yourself with confidence, clarity and conviction?
Yeah.
So say I was somebody that was struggling with speaking, and what would be typically, how would we start?
How would we start? I always start with what your fear is. So what the judgment fear is mostly, because that's the big one. The fear of the unknown is often, it's either the unknown audience, or you've not done this presentation or this speech before, so you don't know how people are going to react. And then the fear of being seen is when we speak, people turn to look at us. So like, oh, you're speaking, okay. And so for some people, they don't like the way they look. Or if you're doing camera work, it's like, oh God, no, because then people will see me and they'll see all my flaws and all the rest of it. And so that works on a physical level, but also the fear of being seen for who you really are.
Mhm.
So I worked with someone the other day, and they had been through a breakdown about 3 years ago, and their fear was that if they're doing videos or lives, people would be able to see who they were 3 years ago in the middle of breakdown and not being able to cope with life. So why should they trust someone who had been that much of a mess?
Yeah.
So it's the fear of being seen for your foibles or for the things you've been through. So I start with finding your fear, and that's a whole process. But because when you know that, when you have an awareness of what it really is that's stopping you, and heads up for public speaking, it's normally something that happened at school between the ages of 6 and 14, and it's usually something you've completely forgotten about or entirely don't relate to public speaking, which is why it's tricky to find, because very often it's not related to actually speaking at all. It could just be an incident. I have a client who their teacher held up their essay as an example of what not to write.
Okay.
And so that was the moment they stopped expressing themselves. So we work in different ways to find out where that fear comes from, because once you know that, say it's 9-year-old you who was playing Mary in the school nativity play, and you dropped the baby Jesus and everybody laughed. Right? So, but you don't relate that to public speaking or doing presentations to the board. But that 9-year-old version of you, when it comes to a situation of being in front of others, fills up your whole body and goes, no, 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 no. You don't want to put yourself in this situation because people will laugh at you. So the first step is to find what that fear is so that you have an awareness of it. And awareness is the most powerful thing. Because when we know, so for me, for example, my vocal confidence challenge was singing, which was very annoying when I really wanted to be a West End performer. And obviously that's musicals. So my thing was an 8-year-old version of me, 8 or 9, and we were in a music class, and our music teacher asked us to open our mouths wider, so I did, because I did what I was told. But then some other classmates, for some reason, weren't doing that bit. They were sat on the edge of the classroom, and they looked at me and went, so, and then, other stuff happened to solidify in me, people don't want to hear me sing. So when I used to audition, my body, obviously that younger version of me, would be like, no! So body goes into fight, flight, or freeze, and my body would start shaking, and if your body's shaking, you can't hit the right notes, because your voice is vibration, and you've got to be at the right vibration to hit the right pitch. So I wouldn't get the roles, so I believed I couldn't sing, so blah, blah, blah. Funnily, if people heard me singing around and about, and then they'd just cast me, no problem at all. So but now that I knew what it was, I had the power to go, oh, okay, well, I'm not 8 years old anymore, and actually I have been cast in X, Y, and Z, so I'm just going to take that version of me and say, I don't need you to protect me anymore, and when I go into this audition, I'm going to leave you outside and not take you in with me. So we find that fear, give you the awareness of what it is that actually you're really afraid of, the younger version of you, so that you can talk to that younger version of you, say, you know what, I'm 55 now, I don't need 13-year-old me to protect me, I'm a managing director of this department, thanks, but I'm going to go out there and deliver this speech at conference without you putting me off and terrifying me.
I think that's an incredibly powerful imagery where you've got almost in your mind the version of you that had the problem.
Yeah.
It's almost like you're embracing that fragile piece and thanking that fragile piece, and at the same time acknowledging and also saying thank you for sharing, and then leaving that piece where you don't need it anymore and moving forwards. Once you've acknowledged and recognised, you're able to move forward. Would that be all right?
Yeah, definitely, because you're not that child anymore, but that part of you, that bit of your cell memory, your brain has stored that away, your body, your muscle memory remembers, oh God, no, I don't like this situation, right? It's the same as if you haven't ridden a bike for 20 years, your cell memory can still put you on a bike and you can still cycle it. So of course, if you go into a situation that your body feels is similar to one that you were humiliated or ridiculed or just didn't like, or one person said something nasty to you afterwards, your cell memory remembers that and puts you into that state. So it's thanking your body, thanking your younger you for trying to protect you, because that's all it's trying to do. It's just trying to keep you safe, because our primeval brain needs us to stay in the tribe, wants people to like us, because if we get kicked out of the tribe, it's hard to kill a woolly mammoth and survive the winter on your own.
I'm having a real ding 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 light bulb moment at the moment. So when I first started my business and I wanted to write blogs, I had absolutely no faith in my own writing ability at all. But what you were saying about things happening in school, I just dropped back into a memory where I cannot remember what the theme was, but we'd been asked to write a story, and for whatever reason I'd set my story in an igloo. But of course I lived in a semi in Southend, and so my igloo had stairs in.
Yeah.
Which the teacher thought was hilarious, and she actually read out the story to make fun of it and had the whole class laughing at me.
Bingo.
Wow.
Powerful stuff. So that's the first step.
What's the next one?
So obviously it's about expressing yourself with clarity, with confidence and with conviction.
Mm-hmm.
So once you know where your fear comes from, whee, we can now start working on what it is you want to talk about, why you're talking about it, which is really important, the impact of or the effect of what you're saying on other people. So that may be the people in the audience, it may be a different end user. So there was a lady who came to my 2-day workshop. She worked for the NHS,
Mm-hmm.
and part of her job was to ask for money for services. And she hated asking for money. It was always, she was having to ask people 2 or 3 levels senior to her.
Mm-hmm.
She always felt like, it's just horrible. But we switched it around for her. I said, well, what do those services do for the people that use them? And she told me, and she went into it, and she got really passionate about it. So it's connecting to the passion behind your purpose. I said, so if you don't get that money for those services, who misses out? She was like, oh my goodness, I'd never thought of it. I'm not asking for me. I'm asking for my department, but I'm not asking for me. I'm asking for those 1,000 people who are going to use the... Wow. So it's about getting really clear on what end result you want from what you're talking about and making that much bigger than you.
Okay.
So I do that here because I call it, it's your higher purpose. It's that thing that you're reaching for.
Mm-hmm.
That's bigger than you, that's higher than you, that's more important. So if you are self-employed, for example, and you are talking at an event because you want more clients, because you need regular income, that's great. That's a purpose, right? Making money is a good purpose, and it's not bad. We like it. But that's this level purpose. Whereas if you go, actually, I need those clients, yes, for me to keep my business going and for me to make money, but to change their lives in whatever way your product or service changes their lives, then there's the higher purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're connected to that, that's more than you,
Mm-hmm.
it's amazing how much more clarity you can get, because then you go, actually, I'm speaking for this purpose, so I'm clear. And if you're clear in your brain on why you're speaking, you'll be much more clear on the words that come out of your mouth, or the words that go onto paper, because obviously your voice is however you choose to express yourself. You will have more confidence because you've taken the spotlight off you,
Mm-hmm.
right? That fear of being seen. It's not about you. Your audience don't give an expletive about you. They really don't. Your audience care about how what you have to say will positively impact their life. So whether you are in corporate and that is speaking to the board and delivering the financials, whether you are an intern in a company and you're invited to team meetings and you've got an idea that you think might be a good idea, but you're terrified to raise your hand because I'm just an intern, if you think, well, actually, the benefits of this might be, that's bigger than you. So it takes the spotlight off you, so it takes away some of that fear of being seen. So that helps give you more confidence. And then the conviction comes from really connecting not just to that higher purpose, but also to a deeper truth of, well, if I don't say this, what might happen? And that deeper truth of, I need to share this, or if I don't share this, then nothing's going to change, for example. So we work on different levels of how to find and build and create your message, your speech, your ability to share an idea, a thought, an opinion, a feeling, which in the corporate workplace is sometimes challenging, but being able to express that because you've got something more important that will happen or that might happen as a result of it. But if you say nothing...
So let's just dwell on that corporate world for a little bit. What if you've got somebody that's been promoted to a certain level where all of a sudden they need to start taking team meetings, or even worse, they've got really senior and they need to start standing on stage, and they haven't had that opportunity to really connect with what's holding them back? What's your advice to that person that is just perhaps on the beginning of that journey? What's, if there was the one thing that they could do, what would it be?
The one thing would be, well, we have the technical stuff, but I know you have someone who's going to be talking about that later on. So I would always say breathe. Like, the biggest thing to manage nerves is breath. So slow your breath down because it reduces your heart rate, and that reduces the amount of adrenaline that's pumping through your body, which then means your brain can slow down and you can think clearly. We come back to clarity.
Yeah.
But I would find something to trust in yourself. So trust. If you've been promoted to a certain position, you've been promoted for a reason. If you are being asked to share, it's because someone believes in you. No one is going to ask you to speak at conference if they think you're going to mess it up, unless they're super lazy and they're just giving it out to anyone. But also, remember that we are never asked to speak about anything that we know nothing about. So if you're in that situation, I said, remind yourself of the good stuff.
Yeah.
Because our brain is the biggest thing that messes us up. And the things we tell ourselves are, whether that's personally or professionally, the stuff we tell ourselves, the rubbish that we tell ourselves, gets in the way. So think of the good things. And if in doubt, ask. So ask those around you. So if you are managing a new team, then go in and ask people, right, I'm new to managing this team, right? That's not news to anyone. So I'm going to ask each of you how you best like to be communicated with. So then you're putting yourself in a position of power because you know, okay, this person likes bullet points, this person likes softly, this person likes direct, and this person likes details. So you're putting yourself in a position of knowledge. So always ask for as much as you can. So if you're in a team, ask them what they need. Ask them how they like to be communicated with. If you're being asked to speak at conference, then ask all the information that you can have. Will it be mic'd? Will there be a platform? Give yourself as much knowledge as possible. Then at least you are prepared with that and you can go away and do the research.
Yeah. I think there's some amazing advice in there that you've given to people about understanding what it is that's holding you back, but also trusting yourself and trusting that you're in the position that you're in for a reason, because you do know it. And I think that's so important for people to remember. Because I think we have a tendency to forget that, and we listen to this horrible naggy voice. But quite often you allow that naggy voice to talk to you in a way that you'd never talk to a friend, would you?
Exactly. And peer fear is the most terrifying of things. I worked with a doctor. She was speaking at a conference, and she said, well, who am I? You know, they're all my peers. They might know more than me. I said, but do you go and listen to other people speaking who are your peers? She said, oh, yes. I said, and do you learn things from them? I was like, yes. But you don't believe that you're good enough to be standing there speaking to those same peers.
Mm-hmm.
So even if it is on a topic that you know your audience know, remember you're coming to it from your perspective.
Yeah.
And either people will be sat there nodding along going, oh, yes, 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 I do it like that, I do it like that, yes, 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 which makes them feel great.
Yeah, it's incredibly
Yeah.
reinforcing, isn't it, to have
Or-
your beliefs and everything
Reaffirmed.
reinforced.
Or you might come from a different perspective, which might shed light on, oh my goodness, I've never thought of it in that way before. And some people might disagree with you, and that's okay. Because you can't make everybody like you. Like that's, if I'm going to sum it up, to have that clarity, to have that confidence, to have that conviction, I ask you this question. Do you like everyone you've ever met? No, you don't. So not everyone's going to like you. So when you're speaking, if you can get rid of that desperate need for everyone in the audience to like you, you will give yourself a lot more confidence. Get really clear on why you're there. Be really clear, depending on the length of time you're speaking for, focus on one idea. Even actually if it is a 45-minute talk, there's normally one key idea at the centre of it.
Mm-hmm.
You can go off and around it and give them different ways of approaching it, but be really clear on that one thing.
Yeah.
And have the courage of your convictions. So find what's really true for you about it and go for that higher purpose to take the spotlight off you so that you are putting the spotlight on the people who it's going to help.
Judith, thank you so much. You've given us some incredible food for thought today. I'd like to just give you the opportunity for the people that are listening to us today. Can you just give a little bit more about, if they wanted to work with you, what sort of services you offer?
Sure, thank you very much. If you like the sound of that, then I work in different ways with different people because I'm aware that some people like to work one-on-one, other people prefer groups. Some people like to work incredibly intensively, and other people like to be supported over time. So I do have a variety of different ways people can work with me. The most common way that people get a taster of me and go, okay, do I want to invest my time and money in this woman, is to come to my 2-day workshop. So it's a 2-day speak with confidence, heart and soul. So we go over all of the stuff I've been talking about. We delve into a little bit about finding where your judgment fears might be, as well as the practical articulation, posture, nerve management stuff. And the next 2-day workshop is the 31st of January and the 1st of February 2020. And that happens in Euston in London. So that's probably the most direct way. But I also work with voice vibration as a way of helping you recognise where you're physically stuck in your body. And I run retreats where we work with sound vibration to check in with that muscle memory, with that cell memory, to help you release that and let go of the rubbish from the past that you're holding on to. And so I have the next 7-day retreat, which is amazing. It's very powerful. We run it in Ireland, and that's happening from the 20th to the 27th of March 2020. And tickets for both are available now on my website,
And
which
your website is
yourwholevoice.com. And whole as in the whole world, your whole self. I thought it was a really simple website address, and then people are going, oh, HOLE. I'm like, no, no, not the hole in your voice, your whole voice. Or if you want a really cheap way of getting to know my work, this is my book, little blatant plug. It's called Stop Shoulding, Start Wanting. And that is the first step to finding your voice, because if you don't know what you want, then how on earth can you ask for anything? If you don't know what you want the result of your talk to be, then you won't have clarity. So if you like to do that, it's available on Kindle as well.
okay.
And from most of the online book outlets without naming any names.
And I see you've got another product there, which
Oh,
I'm
I
very
do.
curious about.
I do. This again is more to do with the voice vibration
Okay.
energy work. So these are my healing inspiration cards. So they're called Sound Your Voice, and these are available from my website, not anywhere else at the moment. And it's a deck of 33 amazing cards. I don't even know which ones I'm showing you, but my artist is just, oh, I love her. And oh look, Rant and Rave is the one at the top there. So it's okay to be angry, and I think that's really important. Like, so what you do is you pick a card for the day, and it gives you an inspiration for the day. So I've got give a little whistle here. It's time to lighten your load, and you look at the number on the card, and then you go to the booklet, and you open up the booklet at the page, and it gives you a little explanation. So give a little whistle is if you're feeling weighed down, it's saying things aren't as heavy as you think they are. So there's nothing that says carefree and frivolous more than a jaunty whistle. So give a little whistle. You see, that brings a smile to your face. So these cards are about working with the sound. Each one has a different sound for you to make, and they work very much on the energy levels of the body and to change your energy state and help you expand and explore your voice.
Thank you, Judith. It's been a joy to spend time with you today. Thank you for coming and talking to us.
Thank you for listening.
And we look forward to speaking to you again next week. Thank you and goodbye.
Bye.